Two horses and a debutante. Priscilla was a little innocent girl of 17, but she didn't mind because she was coming out of society the next day. And did she come out right at the Ritz? Her mother, being Southern, received her guests with smilax in one hand and waffle irons in the other. At the party, she met an old horseman called Peter Partway, one of the Virginia horsemen. He said, "Priscilla, I think a little ride in the park after this terrific party would do you a lot of good." And Priscilla said, "All right." She was only a debutante. So the next morning, we find them dashing across the park in their mother's old Duesenberg. Where they eventually arrived at the Academy of Horses. Now, Peter had never seen Priscilla look so ravishing. He only met her the night before. He said, "Priscilla, I think you're going to love your little ride this morning." But alas, she'd never been on or off a horse before, and all the horses knew it. Began neighing in anticipation. You know, horses really anticipate, but they hardly call it that among themselves. Now, two old French hunters were led from the stable. One was called Napoleon because he'd been so good in his youth. And the other was called Lafayette because he was an old chestnut. So Priscilla chose Lafayette, showing you can never tell what a debutante will do with a horse. So they mounted and away they went. But after 2 minutes, Priscilla felt her riding seat would never be the same again. She began to think of all the lovely things she'd known in her life. Her mother, her little deaf sister Fanny, who never heard a joke. The stag line at the Ritz. Her two-seater plane that always came down. The harder she pulled on the reins, the faster Lafayette went. He was that kind of a horse. Finally, she would stand it no longer, so she threw her arms around his neck and he ran away. Uphill and down dale until finally Tony, one of the two gardeners left in Central Park, did a Pacisti salute. And Lafayette, being a French horse, dropped dead from embarrassment, owing to the strained relations between France and Italy. When Tony picked up Priscilla, he didn't know she was unconscious. He said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Do it again. Do it again." You see, she was just the usual little debutante. And now 2 years have gone by, and Priscilla is beautifully married and living in Long Island. And Tony is now her landscape gardener. And you can see them any afternoon, planting this or that, or that or this. And as they climb under a holly bush in May to gather berries for the coming year. Priscilla said, "Isn't it a funny thing, Tony, what a difference a horse can make to everything in life?"